gentlemen, one of the biggest artists of 2012. It is fun. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the time. We appreciate it a lot.
We feel great after that intro.
Oh, good. You know, I mean, I try to build it up. You know what I mean?
And now it's going to be like pushed down. It's going to explode in the next 5 minutes.
So you guys have had a great degree of crossover success. You are played on our radio station, which we also play Metallica, and you are also played on top 40 stations that play Rihanna. What do you attribute that crossover success to? Why do you think that you're able to kind of be in the middle there?
I hope that it's just a kind of an acceptance of more of an alternative-based or rock-based music, like kind of making its way back into the mainstream, hopefully. That's how we kind of think about it. We think about it like as children of the 90s and seeing, you know, bands like Pearl Jam or the Smashing Pumpkins. There was a little more crossover, a little less definition as far as what pop radio was. And even like Foster the People last year, that was a song that kind of did that. And I don't think that we could have had as much of a chance if they didn't help open that type of door. And now you kind of see it now with like other type of bands. It seems to be happening with a little more frequency. And for us as just rock musicians, we think that's a pretty cool thing. Yeah,
very good. Now, talk about the success initially of We Are Young. First question, did you have an idea that song was a hit? And at what point did you, if you didn't, at what point did you realize, holy smokes, we got a pretty big song here?
I mean, the definition of a hit is still something that's kind of doesn't make any sense to us. We have to poll like 100 different people and ask is it
like
a hit?
Hit is sort of like when it's like best New York pizza. It's like someone needs to come along and be like, you know, in the, you know, book that says what things are, a hit is, you know, 2 million sold and this much radio, you know, because it's this weird thing where everyone has license to be like, it's a hit, and we, like the best pizza thing, had such a hard time believing it that We Are Young had to sell like an unimaginable amount of singles and become a very, very big song before the three of us were like, maybe you guys are right, maybe it's a hit.
It's like the assassination thing.
Yeah,
like how do you determine between an assassination and a murder?
Oh, well.
It's a lot of gray area.
Wow.
Yeah,
for sure.
Or when does a couple become a few?
All right, so let's go over these. I thought this was incredibly impressive today when I was going over this. Grammy nominations are in. They were announced last week, and you are all over the place. Best New Artist, Record of the Year for We Are Young, Song of the Year for We Are Young, Best Pop Duo Group Performance for We Are Young, Album of the Year, Best Pop Vocal Album. Initial reaction to when you were nominated? Was it kind of like the pizza thing again? You know?
Well, no, it was the opposite of the pizza thing actually, because the Grammys are sort of, they are what they are.
Got it.
Especially
I'm in it now.
Yeah, we've done so many things that are cool for us, but hard for other people to understand. I'm going to reference like our grandparents specifically, and then every once in a while you do little things like playing on David Letterman or something like that, where it's like, you know, your grandparents start to understand that things are going well. But I think the Grammys are the ultimate example for people outside of our little world to be like, oh, they're not driving around in a van across the country smoking pot. So that's a nice immediate thing that comes along with that kind of recognition.
Very good. And now, have they asked you guys, like, do you know will you play or?
No, we don't know anything yet, but that'd be pretty cool. We got to do the Grammy announcement show last week, which was kind of an honor, and also kind of made us think, all right, well, we'll probably get nominated for a Grammy if we're playing the Grammy announcement show. So that kind of softened the blow. And then suddenly, as we were sitting there, and then they announced another one, and then another category that we were in. It's just like the like out of the show, I think they announced 6 things, and we were nominated for 4 of those things on the 6 that they had just announced on the show alone. And so it was pretty odd.
Oh, very good. A little Larry David reference, if I caught it.
I've been watching religiously for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, you can't. Are you talking about Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yeah.
I would assume one of my favorite shows ever. Absolutely one of my favorite shows.
Who's your favorite character?
My favorite. Who is kind of Larry's like antagonist?
Funkhauser.
Say it again.
Funkhauser.
Yes.
Funkhauser is the best. Funk Man.
That guy,
Martin,
the Funk Man, is amazing.
Morton Funkhauser.
Funkhauser and Leon. I was actually in bed last night, and I don't think I emailed you guys the link of where Funkhauser proclaims that he's an orphan.
Little Orphan Funkhauser.
Yeah.
I'm an orphan, Larry. Nice. That's the one who's trying to give him the sweaty 50.
Yep.
Now, I don't buy a lot of DVDs anymore, but I will have that collection. You know, I mean, that show is just genius. Just genius. Now, I want to talk about a couple of other shows that you guys have been on that I really obviously grew up watching in Saturday Night Live. How was that experience? And also, I thought you were awesome on the Colbert Report as well. I love Stephen Colbert. How were those experiences?
They were both, I guess both of them had a little bit of chaos surrounding them, but they both turned out to be two of our favorite things that we've done this year. Obviously, in a year full of really cool things. The Colbert thing, there was a really bad storm, and we were flying from, I don't know, Vancouver or something. So we got there at the very last second before, like, you know, we thought that we were gonna have to cancel it, and it just ended up being great. And we loved the Colbert Report and the show Strangers with Candy that Stephen Colbert used to do beforehand, before he started doing Colbert Report. So it was really cool to be a part of that, and then to see how they spliced and edited the interview afterwards, made it like an incredible interview. And then SNL, we were flying from London the week of rehearsals, and that was also when the Superstorm Sandy hit New York. So we had to fly to Atlanta instead of New York and have our tour bus, because we were just starting a tour, pick us up and drive us up to New York like the day after Sandy had happened. And I think that the SNL thing was probably the most incredible, because it was just a testament to how awesome the cast is and how awesome Louis C.K. was for kind of like just ignoring the storm as much as they could in order to put on the best show. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing, like, those people's work ethic, and I think we're honored to not only be a part of the show, but be a part of that show, because it was an incredible show despite all the adversity.
Very good, very good. Now, let's talk about what's coming up. I looked at your schedule today, and it looks crazy for the next 6 months. Is there a break in sight, maybe a break around the holidays? What do you do for that break? And then my follow-up question to those two questions is new music. Working on new music, anything along those lines you can tell us about?
Well, we're going to be home over the holidays, except I think Nate has a more interesting answer to that. I'm going to be home.
I don't have a home, but the point is that we're all going to get a month pretty much off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is amazing, because we have been working since February with maybe a week or a week
max
here or a week there, like max. So this is going to be...
It was only a week here. There was never a week there. It happened once. Serious, it happened once. We had 1 week.
Break.
Will that month, will that sufficiently recharge the batteries? Will you guys be ready to go after that?
Who can say for sure?
I can.
I have no idea what I'm going to feel like, because we haven't had that kind of time off. It might feel like 2 years. We might all come back with just different philosophies on life.
I've had a couple kids.
It's only
I got a couple kids. My kids are coming on tour, guys.
It's like a week, and then we have a couple shows, and then it's like another week, and then we start again. It's not.
I could see Andrew coming back different. You know,
I'll probably have a beard. I usually come back from that sort of thing with a beard.
Coming back being well, turns out Scientology isn't that crazy, guys, and
it's not what you think.
There's something
guys.
I'd like to talk to you about.
And then as far as new music goes, are you working on anything? Do you write and record while you're out on the road?
Nah, I think it's something that we'll probably start to think about a little bit more down the road. For now, it's just some ideas here and there. But one of the things that made some nights unique to us was that the writing process was done so close to the recording process, and so it felt more like capturing lightning in a bottle. And I'd like to try that kind of again this next time, or at least, I don't know. We've been doing this for such a long time, and this has been such an extraordinary year that there's still so much to focus on.
And it's also cool to stay in this album cycle. I think, at least my whole time playing music, probably these guys too, there's always so much work on new songs that you'd play a show and in your head be like, ooh, I wish we could play that new best song, and that kind of just it detaches you from the audience. But Stars is still our best song, or Some Nights, or whatever we think it is. So we're still on the same wavelength as them. There's no inside joke of us having a song they don't know about yet.
Very good. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the iTunes session with you guys debuted today, if I'm not mistaken, and that had a couple of older songs from your first album, as well as a couple of, I guess, newer versions of Some Nights and We Are Young, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. It had one song from the old album and a Van Morrison cover.
Van Morrison cover. I did see that as well. So if you are a fan of fun, you got a little something else to get or to ask for Christmas, whatever the case may be. Gentlemen, thank you so very much for your time. And I say this with all due respect, congratulations. I very much think you guys deserve everything that you've got coming your way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are broadcasting live at the Peabody for Point HoHo Show number 4. This is Fun, and We Are Young on 105.7 The Point.